So it's December 10th, like December 10th. 15 days until Christmas, which is super exciting because I really, really love Christmas. And I'm actually pointing out the date because the soap that we are making today actually has something to do with the fact that we are 15 days from Christmas. So I will tell you all about that in just a minute. But before I do, hello, I am Mrs. Soap and Clay. Let's make stuff. How's it going, Sudsers? Welcome back to the channel. You are at Soap and Clay, where we make all the soapy things, and you're here for day 252, I think, yeah, of 365 days of soap, and we are making peppermint candy looking soap today on December 10th, 15 days before Christmas, which sounds cuckoo bananas, right? Because soap and the saponification and the cure time and all of the things, I know, it's nuts. But here's the thing. Soap and cure time and saponification and all these things, it's all woven into this really cool web of science and chemistry and awesome fun, right? And things like cure time, that's something I've talked about on the channel before, and a myth that I wish would just die, really. But, you know, we're going to talk more about cure time and why it's totally possible to make a soap for Christmas 15 days beforehand. Of course, with this one, we're actually using a hybrid form of soap making. So we are actually mixing melt and pour and a cold process base in order to achieve this. And we're doing some cool cuts and all the things. So let's go to the video and we will talk more about all of the things that I just said there. And you can see the cool process and the making of because they're super cute. So this is actually a really fun little hybrid project. It's super simple, it's super fast, and it yields some really pretty awesome results. Now, I had a wholesale account actually contact me at the 11th hour and say they wanted some peppermint candy looking, you know, soaps for this holiday, for 2020. And it's like December 10th. And I'm like, I mean, we can do something. And so I thought it'd be a cool idea to do a melt and pour hybrid soap with a 100% coconut oil cold process soap. Because the cool thing about coconut oil soap, if it's a 100% coconut oil soap, it actually saponifies. Well, I mean, all soaps basically saponify at the same rate, but it cures really quickly. And I've talked about cure on the channel before, and you know, the myths associated with cure and whatnot, and things that I wish would just die. But with coconut oil, 100% coconut oil soap, it actually goes through a very, very fast cure. So it's something that can be used almost right away within a couple days. And so when she wanted this, I went, okay, yeah, cool, I can do that. We're going to play with a melt and pour and a cold process hybrid using 100% coconut oil for the cold process version, and you know, a melt and pour soap that, you know, I make for the red version. And so what I did is I poured into little rounds there, which were super cute, and then I'm just cutting the little pieces off of the rounds, and I will then put those back in the mold, right? So they can be poured over with the cold process soap and turn them into cute little peppermint candy looking things, which is gonna be cute. Now the little pieces that I'm cutting off there, I'm actually saving them all in individual little piles for each one that I've done, because I will be using those for additional peppermint candy soaps. So some of them are going to have that cool 5-star, you know, thing going on, and some of them are going to have the little, you know, the little cutouts for the peppermint, and it'll all make sense in the pour, I suppose. But yeah, this is the process to make the starter, and then they will go back into the mold and be poured over again. So let's check that out. Now we have the flecks on the red because that's because I put kaolin clay in there as well as some red clay to help with the, you know, red of the, you know, melt and pour soap or whatnot, but also because I put kaolin clay in everything, and I really do think it helps contribute to a nice big lather with glycerin soaps, whereas sometimes you kind of have to work with glycerin bars to get a good lather, and I don't like that. So that is why they have little speckles on them, and I think ultimately they will look very cool. And the scent blend, as you would expect, is peppermint, right? It's peppermint. It's just a peppermint essential oil, and again, a 100% coconut oil soap for the white portion, and I will be using the kaolin clay to whiten it up some more. Now, the cool thing about coconut oil, using a 100% coconut oil for soap, is it's a very, very white oil, right? And so it's going to be very, very light in color anyway. And for this, you know, purpose, for this particular bar, that's a great thing because I want it to be white. So that's awesome. But in a few days, actually, I have a video that's dropping involving coconut oil. It has to be a 100% coconut oil soap, and it also has to be Starbucks red, and it has to be an all-natural colorant in order to do it. And so that's that's a different video. But for this one, super, super easy to, you know, get the white portion done, because again, you're using a very light colored oil, so it's not going to end up a cream. It will end up very much a white, which is awesome, just by using the kaolin clay and the coconut oil, and it's, you know, cool. So yeah, these will go back in the mold upside down, kind of the way that they came out. So I mean, right side down into the mold, I guess. And then we are just going to pour this cold process soap, the emulsified soap, over all of these little rounds here. And I'm soaping really cool. Even if I wasn't, I wouldn't be too terribly concerned about the cold process melting, like, because cold process soap, once you get into the mold, it heats up during the saponification process after emulsification as it's saponifying and, you know, turning into soap. And so it still continues to heat up in the mold, but I'm not concerned about this because even if it did heat up, essentially what you would get would be more wispy, you know, areas of the red, and I think that's cute and fine and awesome. But I'm certain that this is not going to happen. Super not worried. So yeah, it's just literally filling in all of the little crevices there with these guys and doing that thing. Now I am going to be pressing them down because that's the biggest concern with all of this for me, is I don't want any of the white to show on the top. And so I will go ahead and take a skewer and press all of those down into the mold to get them a nice good, you know, connection to the bottom of the mold. And even so, even then, it still may not work, and I will have to be planing off the tops of the bars, which is not fun, but also not the end of the world. It's just one more step. So, you know, we'll see. Now, for the rest of the soaps that we have for this guy, you see how the upper four there, they are the pieces that I was saying that, you know, I told you about, that I was cutting out of these little rounds as I was well, you know, cutting them out, really. Instead of like taking them and melting them back down and doing the exact same thing again, I thought, as long as I'm careful and I pour into the cavities really gently so they don't move around, that still also would make a really cute peppermint candy. And so it would be a white center instead of a red center. And honestly, I think most peppermint candies are a white center instead of a red center. So, you know, it works out either way. But I haven't done anything special with those in the bottom of the mold. I haven't, you know, like glued them down with a little bit of melt and pour or anything. I just literally put them in the bottom of the mold, made sure they were standing up nicely. And then I'm doing, you know, the thing, the pour thing. And it's a little bit, I'm a little bit nervous with this right now because my soap batter did get thick. And that's kind of the nature of peppermint with me. Anytime I use peppermint in a soap, it gets kind of thick kind of fast. It does some ricing, you know, whatever. And then there's a lot of clay in this too, though, to really make sure that it gets really, really white. So as a result, I have thicker batter that I'm pouring over things that could potentially fall over in the mold. And so a little bit nerve-wracking, but you know, so far so good. I don't see that any of them have shifted at all, which looks great. And yeah, so these will actually not be put in the oven for C-pop. I don't want the melt and pour embeds to melt throughout all of this. But as I said, even if they did, they would still make really cool peppermint rounds, I feel. Like, they would still totally look like peppermint candy. But these are going to set up overnight, and we will look at them, you know, tomorrow. I don't know why I put that as the cut, because this is definitely not a cut. Now, by tomorrow, oh, see? Now that is so super cute. Now, by tomorrow, I didn't actually mean tomorrow. I actually popped these out of the mold, about 4 hours after I made them. And the reason for that is I am using a 100% coconut oil soap for the cold process version, and coconut oil firms up pretty quickly. But honestly, these could have sat in the mold for a couple more days before I did anything with them, because you see how soft that is and how my right hand is completely covered in soap as I'm pulling stuff out. This is still a very soft bar of soap, and so I could have waited until the next day to pop these all out, but I was so excited to see them and what they would look like. And those are the ones that are all, you know, the cutouts from the red, and they're super duper cute. And this one is one of the red ones, like the thing that I cut. Yeah, and those are very cute, but you see what I mean about the, you know, the top, and it has the white ended up seeping through to the bottom. And it did a little bit on the, you know, the ones that I pulled originally, but not too terribly much. And so those actually, I think, totally work for what they are. But these ones, they're definitely going to need to get planed down so they have a good, so you can see, you know, the stripe, essentially, the peppermint stick, peppermint candy stripe thing. And so I'll have to get my planer out for these. Now, I usually wait until my bars are a little bit harder than this to plane them down. But just for purposes of the video, I'm going to show you a couple of them so you see, you know, what they look like when they're all planed down or whatever. And then for the rest of them, I'm going to let set up overnight, and then we'll plane off the top tomorrow. So they all have the cool red and white stripe and no, you know, white sort of covering any of it. So this is just the little process with my little planer guy here. And I think I need another pass there. But you see how it's getting, you know, more white into the red area? It's because the bar is so soft. But that is absolutely beautiful. That is like the cutest little peppermint candy soap ever. And again, very, very simple, very, very fast, and something that you can legitimately still use in the holiday season, you know, like right now. And this wholesale customer was actually wanting to send off for the rest of the orders for her Christmas line a little like freebie soap, thank you for shopping, you know, whatever. And this fits the bill. It totally works. And with that guy, I couldn't actually get it all the way through the planer because, again, a little bit too soft, and I felt the red moving inside of it. So I decided to let that one sit for a little bit until tomorrow so it'll get harder and I can, you know, plane it properly. But yeah, they're super cute. And of course, you know, Soap and Clay Kidlets, like, look what you did. You messed it up. See that little mini finger? Yeah. They are so critical of me, I swear. It's that's day 252, the Peppermint Rounds hybrid soap on the fly, and those things are super adorable. Now for this particular wholesale account, I love her more than anything in the world, and I would do anything for her. In fact, I frequently, whenever she sends me an email saying that she has a new order, I find a way to work her into the existing wholesale schedule to get her soaps as quickly as possible, because I adore everything that she is and everything that she does. So of course, when she came to me and said, hey, I need this kind of at the 11th hour, I went, I can make it work. And this is how you make it work. I mean, the melt and pour thing for the red portion, awesome, love that. But then pouring the cold process 100% coconut oil soap, because again, coconut oil, that is one of the fatty acid chains that are very easily saponifiable, right? And so
it doesn't take very long. Well, no soaps really take very long to saponify, but also 100% coconut oil is not a soap that actually benefits from a really long cure. So they're actually ready to go right now, which is super cool. Now, the reason that I didn't use another melt and pour for the white is because I was concerned that the heat of the melt and pour, of the white melt and pour, would melt the red part, and then you'd end up with really kind of uneven lines. And I didn't want that. So that's why we did a hybrid soap with the combination of the melt and pour for the red and the 100% coconut oil cold process soap, so we didn't get any of the bleeding or any of the stuff. And I love those. They're super cute. They smell of peppermint. They look like little peppermint candies. I'm here for that. If you are interested in these soaps, you can't get them from me, and you also can't get them from a dropintheoceanshop.com, because she is including these in all of her holiday orders, which is cool. And I love that. That's a nice little thank you that she's giving for all of her, customers. So good on you there. If you are interested in me making weird things for you, send me a message. I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to play with your ideas, and that would be fun. If you are interested in more soapy fun and antics and all the crazy things and the science and the chemistry and why I have the opinions that I do on all of these things, subscribe to the channel. I would love to have you join us in the Sudzer family. That would be amazing. And for those of you who have joined the Sudzer family, hey, thank you. You're amazing. I really do appreciate you guys each and every day. And I am done today, so I will see you guys all again tomorrow for another round of 365 days of soap. Bye.